All right, Counterpunch Boxing. How you guys doing out there? All right, I did a Manny Pacquiao Jessie Vargas video about a week ago, probably, and there are a couple of things I kind of left out. Maybe not left out, but I wanted to at least kind of elaborate on a little bit. And oh, you're probably wondering what the giant Canelo is doing behind me. Well, a friend of mine, she's a vendor, a rep. She works at different retailers, and she came across the life size Canelo and thought that I would like to have it. So, yeah, I went ahead and put him up. He was like a cardboard cutout, so I named him Cardnello. Get it? Cardboard cutout. Anyway, me and Mr. Cardinello, we have an interview coming up tonight or maybe tomorrow morning about Oscar De La Hoya's recent comments on the Gennady Golovkin situation. And I haven't really gotten into that on YouTube, but I definitely will. Really, I can't believe it wasn't the first video I ever made, because that whole situation's a big deal to me. But anyway, enough of that. So, Cardinello, your interview is coming, my friend. But anyway, all right. Manny Pacquiao, Jessie Vargas. Like I said, I did a video, kind of a breakdown, a prediction. I had Manny Pacquiao winning by unanimous decision and maybe a TKO, or a knockout. So, and I'm going to stand by that prediction. But okay, two points I want to bring up, and I'll try to keep the video short tonight, maybe 10 minutes. The overhand right. Looking back at that Saddam Ali fight, I watched it last night. I like to watch, the most current fight from each guy. I watched the Saddam Ali, and I went back and I watched Timothy Bradley 3. And we know Manny Pacquiao, he's ran into that right hand before. Of course, with Juan Manuel Marquez. And, even, you can go back to Brandon Rios. You can go back to Mosley and, pretty much every fight. But, it's not uncommon for a southpaw to throw the left and get countered with the right. And that is very common. But I'm really concerned about that overhand right. I do think that Jessie Vargas, he's going to catch him with it at least a few times in the fight. And it might even, wobble Manny or rock him a little bit, but, hopefully it doesn't knock him out, which I don't think it will. But, Vargas has this newfound power, power that he didn't have against Novikov or Antonio DeMarco. And I don't have notes with me tonight, so if I get a couple of things wrong, forgive me. Okay, point number 2 that I want to get into. Okay, look at, last night I printed off their resumes, and I'm looking at Manny Pacquiao's resume, and I'm looking at Jessie Vargas' resume. Now, Vargas, he's 27-1, Pacquiao is 58-6-1. Okay, now, Vargas, I believe he had his pro debut in 2008 or 9. It's 2009, I think. And like I said, I might be a year off here or whatever, but just cut me a little slack tonight. Okay, 2009, I think he had 3 fights. 2008, I believe he had 4. 2010, he had, I think it was in 2010, he had 6 or 7 fights in 1 year. He literally had a fight every other month in 2010. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 2010. Then you go to 2012. I think he had 4. My point is, the dude had 6 fights in 10, 3 and 9, 4 and 8. Out of his 27 fights, really, there's not a notable, a recognizable name on there. There's really, not any kind of top 10 guy. And I looked into these guys. These guys are literally cab drivers. I know we use that term in boxing, to describe a cab driver, like a cupcake or a can, a tomato can. You guys have heard the terminology. But he only has 4 meaningful fights, right? he got I believe he got the WBA from Antonio DeMarco, but that was at 140, and then Novikov, yeah, and then Novikov was at 140 also, and then he had, that's right, then he jumped up to welterweight to fight Bradley. And we know what happened there. He lost, and he claimed that if the referee didn't make a mistake, he could have won. Blah blah blah. Okay, so he's got maybe 4 or 5, decent fights on his resume, and you look at Manny Pacquiao, and I mean, he has more. Manny Pacquiao has more top level guys than Vargas has collectively. Like I said, Vargas 27 fights. Manny is getting up there to close to 70 now. I mean, he's getting up there. I mean, you just look you look at the names on Manny Pacquiao's resume: Bradley, Mayweather, Algieri, Bradley again, Rios, Marquez, Mosley, Margarito, Cotto, Hatton, De La Hoya. It goes on and on. Barrera, Morales. You look at all those guys, and you can go back to Ledwaba. He was a champ. Starting with Ledwaba. But and I thought about it, I was like, man, I mean, that's really dramatic. I mean, that is a dramatic difference when you're fighting a guy that has faced more elite A-level pound for pound fighters than you have on your entire resume. I mean, think about it. It's like the dude has 27 fights, and Manny Pacquiao has, faced and beat and retired a lot of these guys. I mean, probably, 10, 15 guys. I mean, so it's just a dramatic difference in, the ring experience. Things and that shows up in a fight. It does. I mean, there's you always hear Roy Jones talk about how there's different classes of fighters, and it starts to show up in a fight. It really does. Round 1, round 2, might be a fill out round. Then round 2 and 3, it kind of heats up, and then a fight will break out. And then, it gets really exciting. But there's going to come a point in that fight where you're going to see the level, the difference in levels. You're going to see, a pound for pound legend, like they're calling him, fight a guy that has, 4 maybe 5 notable names on his resume. I mean, that's all he has. And I really dug deep. I mean, like I said, I went all the way back to 2009 and 10, and I'm like, man, in 2010, this guy is fighting every other month. And I looked up a few of the guys that he fought, and like I said, I mean, they are literally, they're not professional boxers. I mean, they're pros, I guess, on paper. On paper they're pros. But yeah, I mean, he's never been up against anything like Manny Pacquiao. Bradley, people say, oh well, he gave Bradley no. Bradley dominated him in every round, and I don't know. To me, Bradley made easy work of him. He really did. And even I remember Jessie Vargas leading up to the Bradley fight. He was intimidated, and he knew he was outclassed. And that, like I said, that class is going to show up in the fight. Look for it around round 3, round 4. You're going to see the separation in class. And the only thing Manny Pacquiao has to fear is that overhand right. And what a shame it would be, if this kid comes in there and wins a fight against Manny Pacquiao with that right over the left, And even with Saddam Ali, he didn't throw the right in the pocket. He kind of jumped into it. You know what I mean? He was back, and he kind of took a step in, or like a half step, and just jumped in with that right and caught him. And I was like, wow. I mean, you could see it coming you could be in the top row of the stadium and see that punch coming. I mean, it was crazy, man. It was like a Superman punch. But and I don't think Manny will get hit with anything like that. But I'm looking for Jessie to really turn it up in the fight too. I think Jessie, he's going to make it a dog fight. He's going to get in there, and he's going to realize, okay, I can't outbox him. I can't connect. I can't get through the guard. He's moving, he's pivoting, he's slipping everything, he's ducking, he's dodging, he's on a. I think at some point, probably in the middle of the fight, maybe around 7 round, I think Vargas is just going to turn it up. He's just going to go for broke. I really do, and kill or be killed. So if Pacquiao can survive that overhand right and that point in the fight when Vargas says, okay, you know what, I'm going to throw everything at this guy and see what happens, And I think at that point, that's when Manny could possibly get the knockout I keep talking about that might happen. I think it'll come at a point in the fight when, Jessie Vargas, when he gets desperate. When that desperation kicks in, you take risk. You do, and you have to. You have to let your hands go, and you have to take risk, especially against Pacquiao. I mean, the only way you're going to beat Manny Pacquiao is to trade with him and take. You got to take a risk. You have to, or you're going to lose. You're going to lose on the cards. You're going to lose by decisions, or by decision. And being at where they're fighting, I think the judges will favor Manny Pacquiao. Now, I've heard a few people talk about, a possible robbery, to go in the favor of Jessie Vargas because Bob Arum lately has been kind of bad-mouthing Manny Pacquiao. He keeps making comments about, he's kind of favoring Jessie Vargas and how Vargas could have beat Bradley if the referee wouldn't have made the mistake that he made in the 12th round of the last fight. Vargas would have had a chance to beat Bradley. And it's weird to me, and we know there's a lot of corruption going on in boxing. I mean, I'm not insinuating anything like that, but maybe, you never know. It's just weird. Like I said, Bob Arum, he keeps bringing things up. He did an interview with like Radio Raheem, and he was bringing up like Pacquiao's religion and his beliefs on like the gay community, things like that. Because Bob Arum, has a totally different point of view than Manny Pacquiao when it comes to like politics, and I mean pretty much Arum's a Democrat and Manny's more of a kind of a conservative Republican, whatever you want to call it. But I don't want to get into politics, but I'm just saying, I'm a little bit concerned about the judges, with Bob Arum. It just seems like he's turned on him lately, and Freddie Roach, Freddie's Freddie. He's been kind of quiet. He's been a little bit quiet, but he looks like he's really in tune with Manny. You can tell when they're training and they're working the mitts, they look really good. So I like to see that connection there. I mean, I didn't see that connection in the Mayweather fight. I really didn't, and now we know why. Because of the shoulder injury and everything. And I didn't see that connection in 2012 when Pacquiao lost to Bradley. It seems like when Freddie and Manny are really clicking, Manny does well. So yeah. Like I said, I wanted to point out the huge difference in, the level of opposition, their opponents. Like I said, Pacquiao fighting all these guys, the Cottos, the Marquez, the Bradleys, the Mosley, even Margarito for the size. He's seen it all. There's nothing he hasn't been up against before. And you might be thinking, well, sure, but that was a younger, prime Pacquiao. But now I think Pacquiao, he's an intelligent fighter now. He's grown a lot, and what he's lost in like his physical ability, he's gained in knowledge. So he's leveled out. And you might even say he's a better fighter now. He's a complete fighter. I thought he was a complete fighter before, but now, he has like, that knowledge and that confidence and that calm about him that, there's nothing you can throw at him. Even if even if there's like a flash knockdown, if Manny Pacquiao was to get caught and get knocked down, I think he'd get back up like nothing happened. I don't think it would rattle him. I don't think it would shake him. Like I said, I don't think there's anything he hasn't seen. And Jessie Vargas, and that is just priceless in a fight. When you have that kind of experience in a ring, it's priceless. But Jessie Vargas, he doesn't have anything like that. Like I said, he's got, Novikov, DeMarco, Saddam Ali, and Timothy Bradley. And he's only, and kind of like going back to Ward, how we talked about Ward's five fights that he's had in 5 years. This is kind of a, maybe a similar situation because, Jessie Vargas, he has 4 or 5 like meaningful fights, and You know, the way you become a good boxer, a great boxer, is you have meaningful fights, or you know, you take a road like maybe like Danny Garcia, and you know, you cherry pick and you fight a bunch of like old washed up guys, like when he fought Morales or something like that, and you make a name for yourself. But you know, Jessie Vargas, he's a young guy. In my opinion, he's very inexperienced in the ring. And I think he'll have, or he's already had Eric Morales working with him now. I don't think he'll be in his corner on fight night, but from what I've heard, he's worked with Eric Morales again. And what I don't like, that I mentioned before, he's also worked with Mimo Heredia. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. You know, we all know who Mimo Heredia is, and I don't need to go any further with that. So yeah, okay, enough of that. Upcoming videos, I'm going to do part 2, that Andre Ward Kovalev part 2, and I might, like I said, I might even do a third one, and then I'm gonna do a Nicholas Walters and Lomachenko kind of breakdown prediction video for you guys. I'm looking forward to that one, man. That's going to be a great fight. And there's one more I was going to do. Oh, yeah, like I said, the Canelo Golovkin situation, I want to get into that, you know, because there is an update on that I want to share with you guys. And you know, I thought about maybe putting out like a video every day, maybe, you know, maybe like a 5 or a 10-minute video of like the top boxing stories of the day. But I don't know if that would be like overkill. I mean, I would enjoy doing it, you know, waking up every day and kind of going over the top stories or whatever. But if you guys would like to hear that, leave in the comment section below. You know, I wouldn't mind doing it. I mean, I do it anyway on every other platform, so why not YouTube? You know. But anyway, I'm gonna hop off here. Like I said, I'll have the other Kovalev Ward video coming, and Cardnello and the Golovkin. All right, man. You guys have a good night. Thank you for watching Counterpunch Boxing.